Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Online Steps to Success. It is Tuesday, July 3rd, on the eve of Independence Day, and I'm so glad that you're here. I hope that you came ready to work because we have a lot of work to do tonight. We are going to be talking about creating a business plan, and we'll get into that in just a minute. Hi, thanks for joining us. I have so much to share with you. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Vicki. So as you're coming on, I'd love to know where you're from. I am broadcasting live from Edmond, Oklahoma, and I'm so glad that you are here. It's just north of Oklahoma City. My people on, whoops, sorry about that. I just realized maybe I didn't do my camera right, or my microphone right, but we'll see. We shall see. So like I said, I'm from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I'm so glad you're here. And my name's Allison Dahlke. I should introduce myself. This is Online Steps to Success. We go live every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Central Time, and I'm glad that you're here joining us. This is also being recorded. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook Live. We're wherever you are. Hi, Diane from Ontario, Canada. Tamara from Alabama. So glad y'all are here. We are gearing up for Cincy Family Reunion in Anaheim happening in just a couple weeks. This is my husband, Brian.
What's up, guys?
If you're tuning in for the first time.
Crazy dude just walking behind her.
Yeah.
Right in here.
That is what it is, so it's okay. Hi, Dorothy.
Hi, Kelly.
So like I said before, this is Online Steps to Success, and our goal with Online Steps to Success is you dream bigger dreams, to work smarter, not harder, and to make more money in your business, because that is what it's all about. We want you to have a business that blesses you and your family and that is not a burden. So that's the goal. And we are going to jump right into a lot of stuff today. So tonight we're going to work. It is time to make a business plan. Baby, it's really okay.
Okay. Morning.
He's trying to be my, well, that is actually better. Oh, night.
Salt gun.
I am going to need you to come back with the salt gun, but maybe after the babies are in bed.
Okay.
Look at you. He's rigging up some. It's summertime, and the sun's going down later, and so we have sun. Norma says hi, babe.
Hi, Norma. I know Norma.
He's over there being the...
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. You did it, baby. Like, you did great.
There's a chance that one could fall.
Okay. You're going to need to... She hurt herself. You're going to need to get that one.
WWE going on in here.
Okay, we're going to get started. So tonight you are going to need something to write with. You are going to need something to write on. And if you have a calendar handy of all the things happening in your life, you're going to need that too, because we have work to do. So why are we creating a business plan, you might be asking? So many moons ago, we used to do, we had a course called Shine University. We also called it, I don't remember, LTC, Leadership Training Camp. I don't know. We did several things. Brian started it on the inspiration from Melissa Gratz, and we did it for several years. In that course, the final project was to create a 6-month business plan. And I will tell you, I think it's one of the single most business-changing things that we have ever made people do when people stick to it. So we're going to talk about how we create one that works and how we create one I just got a text from my sister. I really wish I could turn my text off, but I can't. I mean, I can turn Do Not Disturb on so nobody will call me, but I just got a text from my sister to say my dad's coming in town. Yes, you did hear Lucy. Lucy's my 2-year-old. We have 4 kids, by the way. We've been doing Cincy for 10 years, and we're Superstar directors. So there you have it. I probably should have told you that. I'm getting lax in my week after week, aren't I? I'm getting a little lax on what I tell you in the beginning. So, but right now we're going to talk about why a business plan. So there's several reasons I think you need a business plan. There's several reasons I think you need this type of business plan. Number one, the first reason, this is a business. And regardless of how you're running it, it might be a hobby at this point, but if you want it to be a business and you want it to function like a business, you need to treat it like a business. Most legitimate business owners, especially if they have a loan from the bank, they do not just fly by. They have to create a business plan before they ever even go into business. So that's why we need a business plan, because if we want our business to function like a business, we need to treat it like a business. So that's one of the reasons. Why else do we need a business plan? We need a business plan so that we will not be surprised by the things that are happening in our life. Guess what? Things are not always going to go the way you want them to. Things are not always going to happen exactly as you plan, and that's just overwhelmed. We don't want to be surprised by our responsibilities. So it's another reason we're going to have a business plan. We're going to know what our responsibilities are with our business, and we're going to walk into those. Another reason you need a business plan, it creates accountability. It is a built-in accountability source. I get so many messages from so many people saying, I wish I had more accountability. I wish someone would hold me accountable. Accountability is self-inflicted. It is something that you can give as a gift to yourself, but we're often too lazy to do it, or we don't feel like it, or we think somebody else needs to hold us accountable. The reality is you need to hold yourself accountable. This business plan is a really great way to do that, okay? Another reason is it is a tracker. It's a tracker on your progress, on how you're doing. And the things that get tracked, the things that we keep track of, are the things that improve over time. So it's a built-in system for consistency, accountability, all of those things. So we're going to dive right in. I'm going to swipe you all away, not because I don't love you. I love you very, very much. But I'm swiping away my Facebook comments. I have a rainbow on my face on YouTube. That's fun. Right down the middle of me. I'm going to swipe you away if I remember how. Okay. So I'll come back to you in just a little bit and answer your questions, but I just have a hard time. I'll get really distracted, and then this will not be that productive at all. So here is what the main goal of, or the ideal business plan would be on one big page, almost like a vision board for your business. This works into things that we've done in Action Plan Workshop and a lot of the stuff that we've done in previous weeks. We're going to start with July. We're going to go all the way through December. It would be wise to go into January since we're getting ready to start an incentive period. And this might be something that once the incentive qualifications come out at the beginning of August, that you may want to tweak and adjust and look at and see where you need to make some changes so you can earn the incentive trip if that's something you're working towards. So, what's the problem?
You are off to the side. It's bugging me.
Okay. Not, but I'm crooked up there too. That camera's crooked.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, you are a rainbow right now.
Yeah, looking like a unicorn up on YouTube. Oh, there it goes.
Should have your IT guy.
That's not IT. I think that's like stage management, lighting.
This is
design.
technology. Your IT guy.
Thanks, man. Now I have like sunbeams on Facebook Live. It's cool. Okay. So if I don't get interrupted 9 times, maybe we'll be able to proceed. I do appreciate the camera angles. Okay. For what I was saying now. And then I swiped all the way so you can't remind me. You can't remind me what I'm supposed to be talking about. What was I talking about? Tell me now. I'm going to swipe you back in. Somebody tell me the last thing I said before he walked in. Nobody knows. It's fine. I'll wait for dramatic pause. I know we're creating a business plan. I just wanted to, I'm sure I was on a roll with something. Nope. It's not coming back to me. Y'all don't know what I was saying either. It's totally fine. Oh, Courtney, I sort of think that's along the lines of what I was saying. I was basically saying it's good to have a business plan. One of the reasons I love it the most is the consistency it creates. in your business. Built-in consistency. Yes, Robin, that's what I was talking about. So when we get our incentive trip qualifications, that will probably be announced August 1st. That's usually when they come out. You may need to come back to this, tweak it a little bit, adjust it as needed. Okay. But we're going to start it now. We're not going to, and here's the thing, this is sort of a process. So I want you to kind of open your brain. Hush, babe, it's not funny. It's your fault. You walked in here and distracted me. Oh, I got to swipe all away again because squirrels everywhere. Okay, I swiped you away. So I'm going to show you something, and this is funny for those of you who have been around a while. On YouTube, I'm really sorry. It's going to be backwards, but you're going to get the gist of it. On Facebook Live, it's going to be the right way. So this is an example of what you want at the end game. Now, it doesn't have to be in a notebook. You can do this digitally. You can do this on a poster board. You can do this however you want. But the goal is for you to be able to see a big picture of your plan all at one time. So I'm going to walk you through in just a minute how we're going to start this, what we're going to track, what things we're going to plan for. And really, for me, this is one of the biggest things in my business that keeps me from being overwhelmed. I've gotten a lot of messages. Well, I asked for messages because I asked for those of you who were directors but have lost your title at some point. I wanted you to message me and tell me how you were feeling, kind of your story, whatever. And I hear a lot of you say things like, when I'm overwhelmed, I don't even know what to do. This is the biggest preventer of overwhelm that I've ever seen. It just basically cuts out that feeling of I have so much to do that I don't know what to do. We are not looking for so much to do. We are looking for intentional, profit-generating, business-building tasks that we can focus on month after month after month that will grow your business, that will grow your Scentsy empire, therefore getting you closer to the dreams you have for your life and your family and your future. So that's what we're working towards. Not how many things can I do in one day, how few things can I do in one day that can make the most impact. That's what we're going for with this business plan, okay? And so pencil's great today. Get messy. It doesn't matter what you're writing on. This is just the brainstorming part of this. Another thing that would be great for you to do, a really big notebook, like a big old, 8 by, this is, I don't know, just like a good old, this is a 9 by 11. Just good, big notebook. Anything will work, but the goal is you need to be able to see it. If you're doing it digitally, when you get it done, I highly recommend you print it off and you put it someplace where you can see it. Carry it in your planner if you're a planner person. Put it on your desk or on your refrigerator or someplace where you're going to see it, because the visual part of this is incredibly important. If we make a plan and then we never look at it again, it's not really going to help us move the needle forward. Okay? So let's get started. I'm going to do this right along with you. I've done this several times. One of the reasons we're doing it right, 6-month plan right now. You can also do this for an entire year. It's quite a bit harder to do. And I like doing 6 months at a time because we have a 6-month catalog. I also think it's smart to kind of overlap those 6 months a little bit. So maybe our 6th month is really 7. We go into January. You make this work for you. You're going to tweak it as you go. So the first thing I want you to do, I want you to write July on a piece of paper. We are setting SMART goals around each month of the year. The reason you need your calendar to do this is what I want you to do is right now, I want you to consider every stinking thing you have going on in July. The 4th of July, if you're in America, birthday parties you might have, family functions, vacations, traditions. What is coming up in your significant that needs to be acknowledged in your business, or that might possibly change what your business looks like or how it runs this month? Scentsy Family Reunion, if you're coming to Scentsy Family Reunion, right? I want you to just brain dump all those things. So like for us, 4th of July, that may seem silly, but you know what? 4th of July kind of knocks out a full work day for me. I only work 3 days a week. Wednesday is one of those days. So I needed my brain to know, okay, I'm losing that day. That's okay. I'm either going to make it up another way or whatever. This is all about us being prepared for what's coming so that we can work smarter, not harder. If you're going to SFR, you may be gone up to 2 weeks on that trip, or your family may be coming with you. You may intend to work that time, or you may intend not to work and to get everything set up so you can, be present while you're there, whatever that looks like. Write all of those things down, okay? Things that you have going on personally, birthday parties, celebrations, family functions, everything you can possibly think of, I want you to write it under July. All those things that are going on. So if you're a calendar person, this is where your calendar comes in place. I do not even have my calendar. I can't even give you more explanation, ideas of what's happening in my life. Since the family reunion is mostly it. And we're renovating our house. Okay, but see, that is something actually, house reno. So here's what happens sometimes. When I don't have a plan, when I'm not really working from an intentional business plan, what happens is I often put too much on my plate. I think that I'm Superwoman. Obviously, we all do sometimes, right? And I put far too much on my plate in the business world. So in the Scentsy world, I have all these ideas like, oh, I really want to launch this program. I really want to do this thing. I really want to do this, like all these things in my brain that I want to do. And if I'm not looking at my life first and being honest with myself about what's happening in my life, then I will overwhelm myself over and over and over again. That's why this first part of this is so vital. So we do the same thing for every stinking month. July, then we go to August. August here in Oklahoma is back to school. So it's always a transitional time. Oh, the other thing I want you to do. So kind of while we're doing the personal things, I also want you to think about things that are going on in the Scentsy world. Let's back up to July. So we wrote down, the things that you're doing in July that are personal to you, to your family, traditions, celebrations, vacations, just maybe you're having surgery, anything like that, it needs to be written down. You also need to, this is the same time, I kind of want us, maybe you draw a line under it to separate in your brain, I don't care. I want you to write down things that are going on in the Scentsy world. So bring back my bar. We have our summer collection still. If you wanted to, I wouldn't list out buddies because we always have buddies, but any kind of like special promotion. Lots of people right now are really putting their energy towards getting old consultants reinstated because of the announcement that's coming at Scentsy Family Reunion that none of us know what it is, but it's apparently really exciting and everyone's going to want to be a part of the Scentsy world still. So write down anything like that Scentsy-wise that's going on. A unicorn, you could write unicorn, whatever, okay? Then we go to August, we do the same thing. Our family goes back to school in August. It's a transition month in the Scentsy world. I'm writing things down as we're doing this because I need my business plan too. So transition month, which means it's a sale month. We'll have a discontinued list, yada, 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 and apparently a really fantastic announcement that's coming. And maybe you put that announcement at SFR under your list of things that are happening in July with Scentsy family, okay? So you do the same thing for August, discontinued list, sale month, transition month. We're prepping for the new season, right? The other thing I like to really think about as you're looking at the 6 months is this is also the time when you're going to need to buy transitional supplies for your business. So new catalogs, new testers, all of those things. We're thinking big picture. We're thinking outside the box. We're getting ready for what's coming. Well, I need to be prepared both in my budget and in my mind of what's happening as we move forward.
Someone said you need yours.
Oh, thanks, babe.
Someone said that. I was trying to use it, but I wasn't listening.
You're helpful. He brought me my planner. Okay. Anything like that. The other thing you can start to write in here, well, we'll get to that. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Ooh, we're going to Destin in August. I'm having surgery in August. My last surgery, hooray! For those of you who don't know my story, I carry both BRCA1 and 2 mutations. I've had a bilateral mastectomy, 2 reconstruction surgeries, and I'm having my ovary taken out in August, which is sad and not sad. I have 4 kids. So I'm done with them, but it will present some challenges, but mostly for my health and my future. Anyways, you didn't know all that, but I'm just telling you. I'm surgery in August. Okay, so we've listed out things that are happening in your personal life in August, things that are happening in the Scentsy world in August, and then we do the same thing for September. Do you see what I'm doing here? Don't skip this step. Don't miss this step. Don't speed through this process because it's very, very important. And I think when you get to the end, you're going to see this big picture of your business and this kind of bigger goal that you're working towards. And I think you're going to feel a whole lot lighter. And I think you're going to feel a little bit of relief. Okay. So September, things that happen. It's a brand new catalog, right? New catalog, apparently. So we know that's products. We know that's whatever. Who knows what else that means? Because, and I will say, this is one of the trickier parts about creating a business plan in direct sales when we are not corporate and we don't know everything that's coming down the pipeline. So we can't fully plan for our marketing and our advertising and all the things we want to do, but we can do our very best. So we know there's going to be a new catalog in September, right? And that's huge in the Scentsy world, right? New products, new catalog, all of those things. You write down all the other things that are happening in September. It's Labor Day. It's really helpful to write down bigger holidays because as we go to the next step and we start to plan and prep and kind of get our minds ready for how we want to run our businesses in those months, we need to be aware of those holidays. Maybe we want to do a special sale for our VIPs, maybe whatever, right? Or we want to focus on some home parties and we want to make sure we're not booking around those heavy holiday times, or maybe you do want to book around those heavy holiday times, but we want to be aware of those things. So Labor Day is in September. We are doing a couple retreats in September, so I have to write that down because that's happening in my life. Don't forget about family birthdays. Don't forget about celebrations. I forgot my daughter's birthday in August. Lucy turns 2. One of the reasons this plan is so helpful to me is this. Yes, Cassandra, I will be posting a picture. This plan has helped me not forget birthdays because I have a tendency to do that. Or like I'm planning my business schedule and I'm like, oh crap, we need to have a birthday party. That's really bad, but it's very true. So I'm just telling you, that's my honestness. So then we go to October. Things that happen in October. Oh, other things that happen in September. Usually our fall products launch as well. Not fall products. What's it called? Like our harvest collection. What do we call it these days? Harvest collection? I swooped you guys away. Whatever, I think we call it our harvest collection. So it usually launches in September, right? Yeah, it does. Let me look at my old. Yeah. Yeah, September, harvest. So that's a good thing to put in your brain too. It's not just a new catalog. It's also we're launching our kind of fall themed, warmers, etc. Move on to October. Halloween. This is huge party event function season, right? Fall selling season is in full effect in October. We have several birthdays in October. Brian goes on a hunting trip in October. It's a huge, huge month for us, and it's one that I have to be crazy intentional about. It's a huge sales month, but it's also a big month in our family. So it's one of the reasons I kind of live and breathe by this 6-month plan so that I know what's coming. You know what, guys? I don't know if you do have a harvest collection in Australia. I'm not really sure. So you're walking through and you're putting down every single thing going on every single month. In October, we also launch our holiday collection. So that would be our more Christmas, Hanukkah, snowflakey themed things, and that's going to come in October. So there you have it. Then we move on to November. You see what we're doing here? I'm giving you time and space right now to do it. Stop watching Netflix and listen to me and write. Okay? Okay, good. November. Typically the largest selling season of the month. Oh, Kelly, that's good. That's a good point. Usually voting for Bring Back My Bar. I love you.
Say love you.
I didn't give anybody any meds.
Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. She's been watching me online.
She has.
Yeah.
You've been watching me?
She's talking to me.
You talking to
Are you
Mama?
watching Mama?
No, you
No, you
You
can't.
can't sit
with
in Mama's
Mama.
lap. I sit
Say
in
love
lap
you.
of Mama.
Say love you.
Love you. Bye.
Mm.
We have in the past done sales in October. So all of those things happen. So November, we have Veterans Day, we have Thanksgiving, we have Election Day. Big things that happen. Also great things that you can center sales around, that you can choose to do things around. Black Friday in America happens in November. These are all big kind of things that you want on your list that you're writing down. For us, I take a week off over Thanksgiving break, even though Thanksgiving is one of the, like November is probably our highest selling sales month all year long. I take an entire week off over Thanksgiving, and I do it very intentionally, but I do it because of this plan, because I front load my calendar. I know exactly when and how I'm working and what I'm working towards. So that's why we're doing this, so we can work smarter, so we can have freedom, so we cannot feel overwhelmed by our business, and we can feel more free. You got to write it all down though. So November, Thanksgiving, Black Friday. What else did I say? It's big in November. Election Day, Veterans Day. And as your kids have things they bring home once they get in school, start considering that. Oh, in August, you guys, we didn't even say this. August 1st is the new incentive period. So that happens in August. See? And as you kind of work through this, you're going to see, I'm just going to show you, I really am writing all this down. You're going to start writing all these things down too. Or you'll start thinking of other things, right? I think you said, do I schedule posts to run when I take time off? Yes, I typically do schedule things to be posted while I'm off. We're going to get a little bit more into that in just a minute. Patty, I'm so glad you love this. Yes. Okay, good. But what I was saying is, as your kids, when they go back to school or you have grandkids or whatever, as other things add to your calendar and other things happen in your family, make sure you're kind of adding it all to this big picture in your mind. It's going to help you so much stay engaged and not become overwhelmed by your business. So what else did I say? Black Friday, Election Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving. Those are the big things. We're doing another retreat in November. Yeah. Okay. November. Obviously, huge selling season. Huge selling season. Oh, yes, Patty, that's a great point. And I should have had you guys look at that. There is a Scentsy calendar in the workstation. So that kind of has all the things going on. So if you want to look at boot camp dates or anything like that, that is there and it's super, super helpful. I'm going to swipe you away again, though, because I get distracted. Okay, then we go to December. I'm going to tell y'all something, and I've told you this a million times. You're going to think I'm absolutely insane. I only work until December 15th, and then I take an entire 4 weeks off of my business. And I do it every single year. And I don't feel bad about it. And I work my hiney off to get to the place where I can completely unplug for 4 weeks. I've been doing it for several years now. It has been the single best thing I've ever done for my business, for my heart, for my creativity, for my soul, because it gives me space. This is a business where you're never really off. So even though, you might not answer a text at 10:30 at night from a customer or whatever, it's still one of those things that's kind of always there. And that can become overwhelming, especially if this is actually your job. You depend on your Scentsy business income to pay your bills and to live your life. That is what it is for us. It's a huge responsibility, and we treat it like a responsibility. Yes, it's an opportunity, but it's also our responsibility. It's something that we have to steward well, that we have to work well, and that we are responsible for. But it doesn't mean that you can't work smart. That is really, I want you to know that there's freedom in this business, and I don't want you to not take that freedom. That freedom is a beautiful thing. I know you're scared you're going to lose the momentum. I know you're scared, and I'm not telling you need to take a full month off. If this isn't your full-time job, you might not need to do that. But for me, by the time December 15th comes, I need it. I need the space, and I need the time, and I need it for my soul. And it is such a sweet time for our family. And honestly, it stirs up something in me that makes me so excited to work again. I don't get to do that if I don't do this, if I don't plan out my year like this. So that's why we're doing this. Okay, so we typically have in December, obviously it's Christmas, right? We typically have our shipping cutoff pretty close to the middle of the month, and it depends on where you live, what region you're in, all of those things. For some of you in different countries, it's much sooner. So take all that into consideration as you're kind of walking through this. But also, don't forget birthdays, school activities, like there's probably something happening at your kid's school, whatever. The other thing I forgot to say, don't forget about sports. So obviously, if your kid's in baseball, you're writing down it's baseball season because that's like a huge part of your life. Write all of those things down. Football season's coming, soccer, whatever, it all needs to be on your 6-month calendar if it's a vital part of your life. All of it. I want all of it down. Okay. So I have some pretty strategic ways that I work my business up to shipping cutoff. Last year, I think we were the 18th or something in the US, pretty late. Or was it later than that? Maybe it was I took orders until the 18th. But here's the thing. You decide how long you're going to take orders. And do it smart and do it wise. But like if Scentsy says guaranteed delivery for Christmas Eve delivery, right, from us is whatever the date is, I am not ordering anything to come to my house for me to then turn around and deliver to somebody on Christmas Eve, right? You have to think about these things in advance. So either you're direct shipping things or you are saying, I'll have things ordered and shipped here for free up until this date, and then it's going to have to be direct shipped. You think about all those things and you decide what works best for you, okay? So then we go into January. That's the last one we're going to talk about this as we go through here. January is another transition month for us. So nope, it's not. I'm a big fat liar. I'm kidding. February is a transition month. If you heard that, just rewind and forget what I said. January is the last month of the incentive period. So that's huge. It's bring back my bar. And what else? Am I forgetting anything else big that happens in January? Oh, we'll be on an incentive trip. So if you earned, or if you're going to earn the Cancun trip, then, Ashley said Cyber Monday. Yes, go put that on November. Excellent. See, I told you would think of things as we were going, right? January, if you're earning the trip, you're going to be in Cancun, right? Something to think about right now. What else? What else happens in January? Bring back my bar, incentive trip, but it's the end of our next incentive trip, right? So that's one thing you need to think about. It's getting really dark in here, isn't it? Okay, World Tour starts in January. Heather, excellent. So we're talking about World Tour, an incentive trip. Oh, double host rewards. See, thanks, guys. This is why this is helpful to do with your team. Double host rewards. And we always have, since he's always surprising us with things too. So as we progress in the year, as your kids bring home flyers with activities, since he announces new things, put them all on this master kind of brain dump, all the things happening in my life place, right? But this is really important for you to think about because this will be the first time this has happened where you're going to be on an incentive trip, not at leadership, you'll be on an incentive trip working to earn the next incentive trip. Right? It'll be the last month of the next incentive trip and you will be on an incentive trip. We want to plan for that. I don't want to be in Cancun working. I want to be in Cancun laying on the beach. I want to have already earned the trip. That's my goal. Okay, yes, tax time. See, you guys are fantastic helpers. Good. I'm going to move my lighting shields right now so maybe we can have a little more light. And maybe we'll turn on a light. How about that? Okay, we're about to move to the next phase of this project. So you kind of have your life planned out, written out for the next kind of 6 months. And you will keep thinking of things as we go through this to add to this, okay? Did I say August 10% off? I did. I said sale month. Okay, good. Okay. Thanks, Joss. Hold on just a second. Sorry, YouTube. Okay, yeah. Hey, anytime I get like a rando, you guys can just tell me and I'll block their comments. Like I totally missed all those. Okay, so let's move on. So you kind of have everything dumped into one place and you're thinking, wow, that's insanity. Birthdays, family functions, all the things. Family vacations, trips, road trips, I want it all. Soccer games, I want everything in one place. Cincy and all of it. Yeah, I got rid of her. I was like, what's happening? Anytime that happens, y'all just tell me and I will try to fix it. I was like, I don't really think that's appropriate. Okay, anyways, that's what happens when you have a public page, I guess. YouTube, I'm sorry. On Facebook, we had a weird stalker saying inappropriate things. Okay, so now what do? So now we take a look at each of these months individually. So let's start with July. And I'm not going to walk you through every one. You're going to get the idea as we do just a couple of them. So you're going to start with July. And some of the things that I want you to think about, we're going to set some pretty major goals. What? I got.
Did you get rid of her?
Yeah, I got rid of her.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So I was trying to put them down. I was trying to report it. Am I not
An admin?
Yeah.
I mean, I think so. If you hold down their name.
It just says I could report the comment.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, you need to fix your functions. I'm glad y'all thought it was funny. Okay, so let's start with July. So in July, if you're going to Cincy Family Reunion, you're going to be on a trip, you're going to be traveling, okay? Something to take into consideration. 4th of July in America, whatever else you have going on. We have a house renovation happening at our house. My daughter's in a horse show. Like lots of things, right? So what we're going to do is set goals for each month. Now, here's where I think this is probably not traditional teaching for most people. What I'm about to tell you, it's probably not traditional teaching, but I don't really care because I think it works for me and it gives me peace and it's given me freedom and it's helped me run my business in a better way. I think in a healthier way. So I don't care if it's not public opinion. It's what I do. I do not think that your PRV goal, your recruiting goal, your number of parties goal, I don't think it needs to be the same every month. I don't even think that it should be. I just don't. Some of you probably have a 2,000 PRV goal, a 2 recruits a month goal, and that's good. But I also think it's more realistic and more challenging and more motivating if we say, this is my life in July. This is my life. This business is my responsibility. The customer is my responsibility. My team is my responsibility. The things that I put out in the world is my responsibility. But I'm going to choose month to month what I think my PRV goal needs to be based on my life and what I think my recruiting goal needs to be based on my life. And I think that's absolutely okay. And I think it's healthy. And I think it's smart. I think it's smart. That's why we do that work in the beginning of writing down all the crazy crap that's happening in your life, right? Okay. So I think a lot of people would say, oh, your PRV goal needs to be the same every month and it needs to increase. And what? Maybe, I don't know. It's just never worked for me. And if it works for you, cool. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it hasn't worked for me. And this works a little bit better. Me looking at my life and saying, it's not even just saying how does Cincy fit into it, because Cincy is just a part of it and always will be. It's our sole source of income. Like it has to be a major part of it, but it doesn't have to be equally sourced every single month. Okay. Again, just my opinion. You don't have to agree with me, but it's just what I do. So this is why we do this 6 months at a time. And this is why we look at a big picture. We're doing 7 months right now, but you get what I'm saying. So July, bring back my bar. 4th of July, Cincy Family Reunion, house renovation. Even if you're not going to Cincy Family Reunion, it's significant in your business, right? Announcements will be made. Incentive will be announced. We want our brains already going there. Who do I want to share it with? Who do I want to encourage to join? Who do I want to share my excitement with? Which customers of mine are going to want to know immediately what's happening and what's coming? Who's going to book their first fall parties for me? Right. Okay. Okay, Delinda, that's a really good question. How do you earn incentives without setting monthly PRV goals? I do set monthly PRV goals. We're going to get to that. I set monthly PRV goals every single month, and I have from the very first month I joined. They're just not always the same, is what I'm trying to say. So I always set a PRV goal. I always set a recruiting goal. I always set a number of, it's not actually number of parties. It's more how I'm getting my PRV, that kind of goal. I was just saying it's just not always the same. So for instance, I'm going to show you this. This is old. This is from 2013. And hopefully this is helpful to you. This was a year plan. So it started in June 2013. And I have my sell 1,000 PRV. So this was born out of this crazy brainstorming of life. What I knew was happening in June, where I was going to be, what my energy was going to put. My goal was 1,000 PRV for June of 2013. I only wanted to have one party. That may be insignificant to some of you, but I knew I could sell 1,000 with my customers, my VIPs, and having one party. I had a goal, and you'll see it all the way through this. I had a personal growth goal to read a book every single month this year. So I have that written on this list. It's one of my goals. And then I have a leadership goal in every single one of these. So this one said fix new director training site. That's funny. I don't have a new director site anymore, but this was 2013. Maybe I should again, right? So that was my goal for June 2013. We go to July 2013. Y'all are going to think I'm horrible, but it's just true. Out to the side over here, I have in green the things that are happening in the Scentsy world that I knew were happening. Bring back my bar, Grace Adele. Y'all remember that? That was sweet. Grace Adele sell, bring back my bar. I know those things are happening. My goal was only sell 500 PRV. One party or event, read, and finish my director and training program. And that was my goal. And I'm not going to apologize for it because it just is what it was. Okay. August, sell 1,000, one party or event, read, develop a director accountability program, and host a customer appreciation party. New Grace Adele and a Scentsy sale. So I knew all of that was happening in August, right? So this is just an example of kind of the goals that I was setting, the way that I was looking at my business, yada, yada. So we're going to do the same thing right now. I was trying to decide if I had a baby in 2013. When you have a baby, that gets written on your piece of paper, okay? Write it on your piece of paper. When you have a 2-year-old, you should probably just write 2-year-old, 2-year-old, 2-year-old every single month until they turn 3. And then write 3-nager, 3-nager, 3-nager. You need to take these things into account. You need to remember the fact that you live with other people who have personalities and things. You need to write down 16-year-old, right? Because they take up space and time in our brains. It's okay. We all have those things. So July, here are the things I think you need to set goals around. I don't know what that means. PRV, recruiting, list building, which is not something I used to preach because I didn't have that goal. And I'm going to talk about each of these in just a second. Leadership and personal growth. 5 things that I think you need to have a goal set around every single month. PRV, that's your number of sales. If you're in a leadership position, it has to be 500 or more. It should be. That should be your base. It should be easy peasy. I don't ever only do 500 anymore. Like never. My goal is much higher, but I've also been doing this for 10 years. I did say 3-nager. It's a thing. It's a real thing. They are like teenagers, but they're 3. It's really horrible. So PRV goal. And what I was trying to say, Delinda, is that that goal doesn't have to be the same month to month. If it is for you and it works good like that, totally cool. But I know for me, it just doesn't. I know that I'm going to have months when I can sell $3,000, and I know that I have months when I'm going to sell 1,000, and that's going to be okay, right? Then you set your recruiting goal. It may be 2, it may be 1, but there needs to be a recruiting goal. My recruiting goal is always the same now. It's always 2. I'm always trying to add 2 new people to my team each month. Does it always happen? No, but sometimes it happens and there's more than that, but that's still always the goal and the intention. Then I said list building was the third thing I think you need to have a goal set around. What I mean by list building is this is a list building business, meaning this is a business based on how many people you know, how many people you have in communication, like you're connected with, whether that's on social media, whether that's the influence and the marketing that you've built, whatever it looks like, you need to have a goal set around list building. So I'm going to give you a few examples. Let's say that you have watched one of the online steps we did weeks and weeks and weeks ago, maybe months ago, about building your master list. I talk about using Google Sheets. I talk about having a master Excel spreadsheet. I talk about working that list all the time and adding to it constantly. I need to constantly be adding to my email list or to my customer list. You might be working on adding, if you're building up an Instagram page, you might be working on adding followers. So you set a goal every single month. I want X many more followers that convert to PWS clicks, or I want whatever. I want however many more people added to my email list or added to my text list. It doesn't really matter what the list is that you're working on building, but you need to be actively working on building a list. Don't get overwhelmed by everything I just said. Even if it's just I added 5 new customers this month, or I added 3 new customers this month, whatever it is, be adding to the list and have a goal set around that. If I don't have a goal set around the list building, it's going to be hard for me to reach that goal or hard for me to focus my attention there, right? An email list does not get built organically. An email list gets built intentionally. It gets built by asking people for their email addresses because you're working on building up your online marketing. You're working on building up your communication, right? So that, I think having that goal around some list that you're building, or it could be multiple, whatever it is important. The third thing I think you need to have a goal set for every single month is leadership. What that looks like for you may vary greatly based on where you are in your business. I'm going to use Courtney as an example. She's one of my frontline. Her goal this month is to promote to lead. She's fairly new to the Scentsy family, and she has 2 recruits now. She's working on adding 2 more this month, but her goal is to promote to lead this month. That's a leadership goal. So your leadership goal can be focused around you promoting up the compensation plan, or it can be focused around something you're doing to your team to build team engagement. Now, I want to say something to you that I want you to hear, and I'm going to go into a lot more depth in this next Thursday night. So I haven't announced this officially, but Thursday night, we are doing a live special edition of Online Steps to Success, focused directly on people who have become a director, lost their director title, bounced back and forth, struggled to keep director numbers, or even just directors who have kind of lost their passion and motivation and their kind of drive for their business. And I'm going to go into a lot more detail in that. But when I talk about a leadership goal for me is not you saying, this is not an example of a leadership goal. I'm going to post every single day on my team page. That's not an example of leadership to me. And the reason is your team page will be the first thing people blow off. Now, some of you have incredible team pages, and I'm not knocking that community, but that can't be your definition of a leadership goal, because leadership is so much more relational than you waiting for your team to respond to a post that you posted on your Facebook group. Does that make sense what I'm saying? If your sole focus on leadership has been engaging your team on Facebook, my question to you is why? I know that sounds like a really good thing to do and a good thing to have, but in all honesty, I'm not entirely concerned with my team being engaged on Facebook. I'm concerned with my team making money, selling product, and being out there doing something. If my goal is for them to be commenting as soon as I post something and engaging with me, what does that mean they're doing? That means all their notifications are on and they're just being completely distracted by Facebook 24/7. I really want you to think about what you're working towards and why. Why do you want that engagement? There's good reasons to have it. I want a really strong team community. I want us to be building each other up. So I'm not saying that's a bad thing, But what I am saying is question your motives all the time. Why do I want them doing that? Is there something I would rather have them doing? Yeah, I'd rather have them talking to people about Scentsy, sharing the opportunity with people, not with their notifications on, being distracted by their phone all day long, waiting to engage with me. No, I want my team to function without me. Not to say that I'm not going to lead them, but my ultimate goal, same with my kids, I want them to be functioning consultants, whether or not I do my job or not. And that's not an excuse for me to not do my job. It's just, that's what I'm telling you. I'm trying to create leaders, not people who are waiting for me to post something so they can agree with it, right? I want you, each of you, to be fully functioning on your own. So it's all about the way we frame the things that we think about, and all about the way that we set our goals and our intentions in our business. This leadership goal that I'm asking you to set every month, that's part of it. If you don't have a team, it still pertains to you. That leadership goal needs to be focused on you getting a team member and promoting to lead, or it needs to be focused on you sharing the opportunity. That's recruiting too, or you reading a leadership book and stepping into something. So much of leadership is us changing and growing into it, right? So I'm going to get off my soapbox. I hope I didn't make anybody mad, but it's not that I'm saying that that's what you're doing, that it's wrong. So I'm saying I want you to question everything. I want you to think about why you're putting these expectations in your mind. Ask yourself if those things actually matter, right? That's really, really important. Okay. So every single month, we're going to go through PRV goal, recruiting goal, list building goal. What kind of list are you building? Are you really working on getting all the contact information? Because of Maven now and the ability we have to connect to that app and utilize it for our customer relationship, you want as much information about your customers as possible, because all of that's getting put into the workstation by you because you're good with your, all of your contacts, right? And then that's getting pushed to Maven so that when it tells you, oh, hey, Hannah placed an order a few days ago, why don't you follow up with her? She's in your phone. You can text her. Praise the Lord. Super easy way for you to follow up. So Maven list building is, you making sure you're adding contacts and adding new customers every month. Your list building can be whatever you want, but you need to have a goal around list building. Then you need to have a leadership goal, like I just talked about. And the last thing is you need to have a personal growth goal. So you'll see back here that actually the only thing that's different in what I've changed is I've added a list building goal to all the things I was doing in 2013. That personal growth goal it sounds like the first thing that should go, like the least important thing. I think it's one of the most important things. When I see people get stuck in their businesses, because there's something personally that they need to deal with, that they need to heal from, that they need to grow into. And so that personal growth goal is extremely important. It might be reading for you, it might be listening to podcasts for you, but I would say if you can, depending on where you're at in your business, depending on what stage you are in your life, press into and really prayerfully consider what it is that you need, or where you need to grow, or how you need to change, and step into that. And then learn what you can about that. Maybe that's reading, maybe it's listening to podcasts, maybe it's taking a course. I don't know what it is. But make a commitment to yourself to grow into this business. Because as you do, I think you will see that with that comes the growth of your business. As you grow and change, you begin to see your business grow and change. Okay, we have a couple minutes. So anybody have any questions up to this point? I'll give you a second, and I'm going to give you a couple tips. I do want to show you this again. The end goal would be for you to create something similar to this. It doesn't have to be colorful. It could be a pencil. I don't care what it looks like. But something that you can look at every single day that is pushing you towards what you're doing. Now, here's the other thing. This is actually not the one I use. This is the one I've used for years. Oh, look, I have like a picture from my daughter back here. Oh, hearts. That's so sweet. The fifth goal, Stacy, is personal growth. So one of the most important pieces of this is that you finish the whole thing, that you take into account everybody. No, and I'm going to tell you, I'm redoing mine, and I'll post a picture when, babe, are you being naughty? He said I have a question. I'll just ask you later. He's probably being naughty. Leadership. Okay, I'll answer that in just a second. Lost my train of thought. Oh, when I redo mine, there's a couple things that are really, really important. For one, it needs to be visual, and it needs to be something you can track. So as every month goes by, through every month, at the end of every month, it's really important that you go back and track and that you're realistic with what you've achieved and what you haven't achieved. And that you adjust this as it needs to be adjusted. That's really, really vital. If you make this and you never look at it, it's not going to be helpful for you, okay? But if you make this and you use it as your motivation, that's super, super helpful. So the other thing that I would suggest is as you set these goals, then you kind of work through the action plan and you go through. So if I said I'm going to sell 2,000 PRV, well, then I work through my action plan to figure out. It's almost like working a goal backwards in reverse, where I'm going to say, okay, if I'm going to sell 2,000 PRV, I'm going to follow up with all the contacts Maven pushes me to follow up with each month. I'm going to have 3 home parties or 5 Facebook Live parties or whatever. So that becomes the goal. And then the other thing that I do that's been super helpful as I utilize this plan is I take my calendar that has my life on it and I go in there and I figure, okay, here's one night that I have available for an online party. Here's a night I have available for a bingo party. And then I go in and I fill those dates. And that is how I'm able to take a month off from half of December and half of January. That's how I'm able to take a full week off over Thanksgiving break, because I am so ridiculously intentionally filling Scentsy into my life where it belongs, treating it like the responsibility that it is, that it then begins to serve me as it should as a business that brings me income and brings me satisfaction and brings me a sense of pride because it's of work that I'm doing that I believe is good. The opposite happens, though, when we walk into it without a plan. We become overwhelmed. We don't know what time we have available. We don't know what we need to do in our business because we haven't set the goals to help us be intentional. So that's why this is so, so vital that you have this bigger picture of what's happening in your business, what's happening in your life over the next 6 months. Something I'm going to do this time when I kind of put mine up is I'm going to have my Scentsy, so these were like Scentsy things I knew that were coming down the pipeline, sales or incentives or promotions or whatever. I'm also going to go on the other side and put those bigger things happening in my life. So this is one way you could do it. The other thing that I do when I do this every single month is I take my goals from my bigger plan and I put them on the monthly layout of my calendar. So I know this is my PRV goal and I break it down too. So like my leadership goals involve emailing my team, texting my team, communicating on our team app, like all of those things. So that's what my goals are centered around. And I have check markers on my planner that I keep track of all those things. And am I always perfect? No. Do I always check every box? No. But I have my intention set and I know what I need to do and I'm not overwhelmed. And I've given myself some grace and I've put my business in the space that it belongs in my life instead of letting it overrun my life and overwhelm me. So that's really, really important. Okay. What app do I use for my team? I use an app called Band, B-A-N-D. It's an app made for groups, like soccer teams and band and whatever. It's an app made for groups. And it's very similar in terms of what it's able to do on like it's very similar to a Facebook group, but I spent 3 months off of social media at the beginning of the year. It started to be just January, and then I went all the way through March without being on social media. It was something my soul needed. It was too overwhelming for me. And so I decided, well, if it's overwhelming for me, I mean, it's overwhelming for my team. And not everyone is on Facebook. And I don't want them to think they have to be on Facebook to be able to be a part of our team community. And so I've shifted, and it's still a process, and we're still trying to work it out and make it stick. It is sticking, but there's some things I really love about it. There's some things I love about the organization of it. The only feature it doesn't have is the ability to go live, but it's still working. So, anyways, that's what I use. Real quick, I'm going to give you one example of a leadership. Oh, I kind of told you. So leadership goal would be like connecting with a certain number of team members, sending out happy mail, anything like that if you have a team. So I hope that helps. Anyways, here's what I want. Here's my challenge to you. Of course, I have a challenge. I want you to finish this out. I want you to do the work. Will you have to kind of maybe tweak it a little bit in August? Yeah, you might have to, and that's okay. You may have to up your PRV. You may have to like change some things to set some other goals based on what the incentive is centered around, and that's okay. But my challenge for you is I want you to do this now. I want you to look at your life over the next 7 months. Of course, what you know is going to happen because, right, it's not all going to, things are going to happen that we don't have control over, and that's okay. But at least we are setting our intention in the right place, and we're treating our business like the responsibility that it is. So I want you to do the brainstorming of everything happening in July, everything happening in August. That's your life, that's your family, that's your birthdays, that's your celebrations and your traditions, it's everything. Soccer games and football games and tailgates and everything, okay? If you're a huge college football fan, that needs to go in there. It's part of your life. And then you go in and you set your Scentsy goals, those 5 areas in each month. They do not. Oh, that's my dad's dog. I was like, there's a dog in my yard. That's not mine. They do not all have to be the same every month. Your PRV goal doesn't have to be the same month to month. That's okay. If there's a month when life is crazy, set your goal intentionally and then work your hiney off to get it, but work it in the space that it fits properly in your life, okay? Set those 5 goals: PRV goal, recruiting goal, list building goal, leadership goal, personal growth. I was like, I forgot what the last one was. See, it's so easy to forget the personal growth, but it's so important. Set those goals for each month. Include the things happening in the Scentsy world. Include the things happening in your life. Make some master thing that you can see all the time, and then go back and track it. Am I doing what I said I was going to do? Have I treated this like the responsibility that it is? Promise you, if you utilize this and you dig into it and you work it the way it's supposed to be worked, it will help your business. You will become more consistent. You will feel better about the time you're spending, and your business will grow. It is a built-in accountability system. It is built in to provide consistency, and it will help your business long-term be everything that you want it to be and more. So I would love to see your 6-month, 7-month plans, whatever they are, whatever you come up with. If you want to post them on the Online Steps to Success page, we'd all love to see them. I'm going to start a thread tomorrow where you can post your 6-month plan. If you want to share it, you don't have to, but if you want to, it might give somebody else inspiration. Share this with your team. Share this with your new consultants. It's always good to have a plan, and it's helpful as you move forward in your business. So yes, Roseanne, you will be able to watch the replay. I'm so glad you found this. Thank you guys so much. Hope that you have a fantastic 4th of July. I hope that you stay safe. And we'll be back live next Tuesday night. But before that, we are coming back live on Thursday, July 5th, specifically for directors. Anybody can watch it. But if you're a director or above who has ever lost their title, struggled to maintain numbers, lost your motivation, this will be for you on Thursday night. And I'm really, really passionate about it. And I'm really excited. It's this Thursday, Heather, July 5th, 8 o'clock Central Time. I will do a post tomorrow or tonight and let you know. So it's there. But I hope you can join us then. And if not, I will have you join us, or I will have you. Be sure to join us next Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Central Time. And I'll talk to you then. Bye. As soon as I can turn both of these off.